So I think that Joshua Zirkzee is a much better stylistic fit to get the best out of Marcus Rashford than Rasmus Højlund is. And so given that it seems like Zirkzee will sign for Ten Hag's United after the Euros, I think that means Rashford has to stay. Because if Rashford is sold and Zirkzee is brought in, I don't see a direct replacement on the market who can play that wide forward role from the left side that I think would work best with Zirkzee dropping off into deeper areas than Marcus Rashford can. Rashford, as well as Mount and Fernandes from midfield, can provide those forward runs ahead of Zirkzee that will either work to allow them to run into the space in behind the back line, created by Zirkzee's deeper movement, or drag the centre-backs in the midfield deeper closer to their own goal, which will open up space for Zirkzee to receive the ball and turn. And to be honest, with Ugarte also likely coming in, you could have Mainu and Mount alternating that role alongside Bruno Fernandes ahead of Ugarte, with the Uruguayan holding his position in the rest defence whilst Mainu, Bruno and Dalot from deep provide runs ahead of Zirkzee into the final third. And Zirkzee is essentially the same style of striker that Martial was, though I do think Martial is better with his back to goal when he's dropping, receiving the ball to feet and then looking to roll the defender, whilst Zirkzee is better when dropping slightly deeper to receive the ball, and he's almost like a sixth midfielder rather than a forward himself. And this is where Marcus Rashford comes into play, but before I tactically break down how Rashford and Zirkzee could form a deadly attacking duo, if you want to pick up any of the Euro 2024 new season or retro or club international jerseys as well, go over to Jersey FIFA where you can use code Atlantis at checkout for a discount. A link will be in my Instagram bio, which I will leave linked in the description. Now personally, I don't know why everyone has to go over the top, whilst Marcus Rashford is nowhere near consistent enough to be world class. When he's at his best, he definitely has world class capabilities, and he's able to win you a game in a blink of an eye, and it was only the season before last where he scored 30 goals and assisted 10 in 56 games across the 22-23 season, but that season was sandwiched between two rather horrifically looking statistical seasons for Rashford in terms of goal involvements anyway, as in 21-22 it was just 5 goals and 2 assists in 33 games, and this season just finished, he only hit 8 goals and 5 assists in 43 games. However, his tallies in 2020-2021 of 21 goals and 13 assists in 57 games, and 2019-2020's total of 22 goals and 10 assists in 44 games, shows that Rashford in the last 5 seasons has had one elite level season in Ten Hag's first year, 2 that I would describe as very good seasons from 2019 to 2021, and 2 completely below standard seasons as well. And so I think if Ten Hag wants to get the best out of United as a whole, he absolutely has to work out how to get the best out of Rashford. But alongside a centre forward like Zirkzee coming into the team, I also think Rashford would need an overlapping left back behind him, at least in most games. And this is because I often feel that when Rashford receives possession on the left flank, if he doesn't immediately have runners ahead to either offer him a passing option forward or drag the opposition defenders away, creating the space for Rashford to move into on the inside, then he just becomes far too indecisive and predictable. And I think there's a pretty obvious, relatively inexpensive option, and that is Sergio Reguilón, who United could surely get on a season-long loan for around £3 million, and then if he impresses next season, you can just sign him next summer on a free when his contract at Tottenham expires. And given that the Spaniard is still only 27, he should still hold a value of between £10 to £15 million over the next couple of years. But crucially, on the pitch he has the athleticism, pace and output in the final third to provide Rashford with the necessary forward runs. But how would this work tactically? Well, it would require one of Lisandro Martinez or Kobbie Mainoo to hold this wide left position in the rest defence, to provide the defensive security for Reguilón to push further forward, with Dalot also on the far side holding a deeper, narrower position, either in the back three or pushed into an inverted midfield position, in order to provide the defensive balance on the far side. Luke Shaw, if he had reliable fitness, would have been perfect for this sort of attacking pattern of play, which we saw a glimpse of last season in the away game against Wolves when a quick switch of play enabled United to create a 2v1 on the far side, and Rashford's pass down the outside of the fullback and Shaw's well-timed run were completely in sync, and this led to Shaw getting into a crossing position close to the byline and creating the goal for Højlund. Zirkzee's ability to float into deep positions and either link play with 1 or 2 touch layoffs, but also being able to turn and drive forward with the ball, if the space is granted to him, means that opposition centre-backs are going to be reluctant to hold a position in the back line and not stay close with Zirkzee, which is going to be the first chess move in the sequence for Rashford to eventually make the run into. From here, Reguilón can move up the line, and Mainu can drift from a central position into a slightly wider position on the left, which should work to drag one of the opposition central midfielders out of the midfield line and open up space centrally for Zirkzee to drop into, then allowing Rashford to make the move in field, with Sergio Reguilón then able to overlap into the space created as the opposition right back gets dragged inside with Rashford's run. If the ball is worked quickly and efficiently through the lines, either Rashford on the inside or Reguilón on the outside should be able to receive the ball in behind the opposition's back line. And so the effect of Zirkzee as a centre forward is that I just think he's so good in these deeper areas that the opposition has to have someone following him on his back, which has the effect of opening up the initial space for Rashford or Reguilón to exploit later on in the move. Now I have got a previous video describing the tactical difference between Zirkzee and Højlund. I'll leave that linked in the description, but I will be doing future analysis videos, not only on how Zirkzee and Højlund could potentially fit in the same team, but also on players like Lenny Yoro, Manuel Ugarte and Matthias de Ligt.